Rain lashed across the private runway in violent sheets, turning the tarmac into a river of reflected lights. Thunder rolled low over the hangars, as if the sky itself understood what was at stake. Beneath the aluminum canopy of her executive hangar, Billionaire CEO Adelaide Monroe stood trembling beside her grounded jet. Behind her, the Falcon X-90, sleek white, worth $120 million, sat silent and cold, a masterpiece of engineering reduced to an expensive sculpture. 3 elite engineers had already failed. Diagnostics showed green across every system. Fuel lines clear, electrical systems humming, software flawless. And yet the engines refused to ignite. No spark, no roar, no flight. Adelaide checked her watch. 3 hours. In 3 hours, she needed to be in Tokyo to sign a $5 billion defense contract that would secure Monroe Aerodynamics for the next decade. Monroe Aerodynamics had been built by her father from nothing but ambition and steel. Satellite systems, titanium wings, military propulsion contracts that kept nations safe. She had inherited the company at 31. Now, at 34, she would not be the one who let it fall. Rain hammered the roof like accusations. Around her stood a dozen engineers in crisp white coats, tablets glowing in the dim light, their faces tight with quiet defeat. The lead engineer, Marcus, swallowed when she turned toward him. "Tell me again why this is happening." "Ma'am, we've run every test. It's like something we can't see is wrong." "Then find what you can't see," Adelaide snapped. "I don't pay you to tell me what's impossible." But fear had already found her. Failure. The same failure that had taken Daniel, her fiancé, 3 years ago in a test flight over Nevada. The same failure that had taught her machines could betray you in the blink of an eye. An older maintenance supervisor stepped forward. Raymond. He had known her since she was a child running between aircraft skeletons in oversized boots. "Miss Monroe," he said quietly, "there's someone I know." She didn't look impressed. He once fixed a Raptor engine by hand, when every computer said it was dead. "Name's Leo Carter. Used to be one of the best aircraft engineers in the country. I don't have time for legends." "He's no legend, ma'am. Just good." Adelaide glanced at the wall clock. 2 hours and 47 minutes. Pride, she had learned, was expensive. Call him. 15 minutes later, an old dented blue truck rolled through security gates. The door opened. A man stepped into the storm. Leo Carter was 36, though life had carved deeper years into his face. He wore a gray jumpsuit stained with oil and work boots scarred from years of use. His hands, when he pushed wet hair from his forehead, were strong and marked with old burns and cuts. Hands that had built things, fixed things, held things together when they wanted to fall apart. He walked through the rain as if it didn't exist. The engineers exchanged looks. "A garage mechanic?" one muttered. Adelaide watched silently. Leo stopped in front of her. "You called for me?" "Not a question." "My jet won't start," she replied. "My engineers can't fix it. Raymond says you can." Leo studied the Falcon X-90 for a long moment. "Give me 15 minutes with the engine. Alone." Marcus stepped forward immediately. "We need to supervise." "No," Leo said simply. "You've already tried. Now let someone else listen." Something shifted in the air. Adelaide nodded. 15 minutes. Leo climbed the maintenance ladder with quiet confidence and opened the engine cowling, like someone who had done it 10,000 times before. The rain pounded. The clock ticked. He moved differently than the others. Not rushed, not aggressive. His hands touched the machinery like a physician examining a patient. Pressing, listening, feeling. Then he stopped. His fingers rested on a valve housing near the fuel injector manifold. He closed his eyes. "Here," he said softly. Then louder, someone over-tightened the pressure regulator. The threading stripped. Its reading closed when it's actually leaking microfractures into the secondary line. Marcus climbed up beside him, scanning the component. His face drained of color. "How did you—" Leo took Marcus's hand and placed it against the valve. "Feel that? The vibration's wrong. Machines talk. You just have to listen." 10 minutes later, the damaged part was replaced. Leo reached into the panel and turned the ignition relay himself. The Falcon X-90 roared to life. Smooth, perfect, the hangar erupted in relieved chaos. Engineers shouted. Raymond grinned. Someone actually applauded. Adelaide didn't move. She stared at Leo as he climbed down, wiping his hands on a rag already black with grease. "Where did you learn to do that?" she asked. For the first time, something flickered in his eyes. "I learned by losing everything that mattered." Then he turned toward his truck. "Wait." He stopped. "I need someone like you," Adelaide said. "I have a project. Classified. High stakes. My engineers are too by the book to see what's really wrong. I'll pay you 3 times what you make now. I don't work in aerospace anymore." "Why not?" Silence stretched between thunderclaps. "Because the last time I trusted the industry," Leo said quietly, "it killed my wife." The words hit her like ice. "Then help me make sure it doesn't kill anyone else." He stood still for a long moment. "I have a daughter," he finally said. 7 years old. Bonnie. She loves airplanes. If I do this, it's for her, not for you." Adelaide nodded. 1 month, he said. "Then I'm gone." 1 month. As his truck disappeared into the storm, Adelaide realized she was smiling, a small, unfamiliar smile she hadn't worn in years. The next morning, Leo Carter walked through the glass doors of Monroe Aerodynamics headquarters. Marble floors, chrome fixtures, tailored suits. He looked entirely out of place. Whispers followed him. Adelaide met him in a charcoal blazer, all business again. She led him through biometric security and into a restricted underground facility. At its center stood the Phoenix engine, a massive prototype turbine designed to revolutionize aerospace propulsion. "It overheats," Adelaide said. "We've redesigned the cooling system 4 times. Nothing works." Leo circled it slowly, studying seams and welds. "You're designing it wrong." A sharp voice cut in. "Excuse me?" A tall man in an expensive gray suit stood at the entrance. Clinton Reeves, Vice President of Engineering. 15 years with the company. "Who?" Clinton asked carefully. "Is this?" "This is Leo Carter," Adelaide said. "He's consulting." Clinton laughed. "A consultant? He looks like he fixes lawnmowers." Leo met his gaze evenly. "Maybe your 80 engineers are looking at the wrong problem." "I don't think." "Leo stays," Adelaide said. "Final." Clinton's smile didn't reach his eyes. Over the next 2 weeks, Leo worked 18 hours a day. He stripped systems, rebuilt components, taught engineers how to feel vibrations instead of just reading data. At first they resisted. Then the engine began performing beyond specifications, and they listened. One night, long after everyone left, Adelaide found him alone with the turbine. "You should go home," she said. "You should too. I own the building." He smiled faintly. "Fair point." She hesitated. "You said the industry killed your wife. What happened?" Leo sat on the floor, back against a workbench. "Her name was Rachel. We worked in an aerospace contractor called AirTech. We were developing a new turbine. I saw microfractures in fatigue tests. Management pushed it forward anyway. Deadlines." He swallowed. The prototype failed midair. Debris came down half a mile wide. A blade fragment hit the observation deck, where Rachel was monitoring data. He didn't blink. She died instantly. "They blamed pilot error," he continued. "Covered it up. Paid settlements. I tried to fight it. Lost." He looked at Adelaide. "So I walked away." She sat beside him. "I lost someone too," she whispered. "Daniel. Test flight. They called it user error. It wasn't." Leo's voice softened. "Machines don't kill people. Greed does." He stood and offered her his hand. "If you're willing to listen, maybe we build something different." She took his hand, and something unspoken passed between them. The Phoenix engine test was scheduled for late October. Investors, board members, cameras. Clinton Reeves stood near the front, calm as ever. In the test chamber below, Leo made final adjustments. "Ignition in 30 seconds," the technician announced. The countdown began. 5, 4, 3, 2. The engine roared to life. For 3 perfect seconds it ran flawlessly. Then pressure spiked. Alarm screamed. Fire burst from the exhaust ports. "Shut it down!" Adelaide shouted. A small explosion rocked the chamber. Smoke filled the reinforced glass enclosure. On the monitor, she saw Leo stumbling back. "Get him out!" She ran. By the time she reached him, he was coughing but standing. "That wasn't a mechanical failure," he said through clenched teeth. "What?" "Someone altered the fuel mixture. That kind of spike doesn't happen on its own." Before she could respond, Clinton entered with 2 board members. "Adelaide," he said smoothly, "we need to discuss Mr. Carter's role. He just said someone sabotaged it." "Or," Clinton replied, "he made an error and is deflecting blame." The board voted within the hour. Leo Carter was removed from the project, effective immediately. After they left, only Leo remained. "You should let me go," he said quietly. "It'll be easier. You're the only person in this building I trust," Adelaide replied. But he picked up his tool bag. "Don't let them make you lie," he said. Then he walked out. The next 72 hours were brutal. Media headlines attacked Monroe Aerodynamics. Investors panicked. Clinton played the concerned executive. Adelaide did not sleep. With her head of security, Victoria, she combed through server logs and access records. On the 3rd night, Victoria froze. Someone accessed the Phoenix control system at 2:37 a.m., 3 days before the test. Admin credentials. "Whose?" Victoria hesitated. "Yours." Adelaide's blood ran cold. "I was at a gala," which means someone cloned them. Victoria traced the IP address. "Executive Wing, Office 212. Adelaide whispered, "That's Clinton's office." There was more. Emails between Clinton and a foreign competitor, Dragtech Aerospace, a consulting contract worth $20 million. If Phoenix failed, Monroe Aerodynamics would collapse. Dragtech could buy the patents at auction. He had planned to destroy her company from the inside. "Find Leo," Adelaide said. Leo was in his kitchen when her SUV pulled into his driveway. She drove herself. "You were right," she said, handing him a tablet. "It was sabotage." He scrolled through the evidence. "He was going to destroy you," Leo said quietly. "The board meets in 6 hours," Adelaide replied. "I need you there." "You want me in a room full of executives who think I nearly killed your company?" "Yes, because you're the one who saved it." The boardroom was glass and steel. 14 members sat around the oval table. Clinton looked confident until Adelaide projected the emails. "3 days ago the engine failed," she said. "It was sabotage." Clinton stood. "This is fabricated." Leo stepped forward. "To cause that failure, someone had to remotely alter the fuel-air ratio using admin credentials and deep system knowledge." Adelaide clicked again. Access logs, keystroke records, recorded calls. Clinton's face drained of color. Security escorted him out within minutes. Legal action would follow. For the first time in weeks, Adelaide breathed. Later, outside the building, Leo said quietly, "There's something you should know. When Rachel died, I found shareholder documents. Your company had invested in AirTech. I saw your name." Her heart stopped. "I thought you were part of it. But I kept digging," he continued. "You hired forensic engineers, funded lawsuits. You donated $600,000 anonymously to the victims' families." Her eyes filled. "It wasn't enough." "It paid for Bonnie's future," he said. "You didn't kill her. You tried to fix it." She took his hand. "I don't know how to trust someone," she whispered. "Neither do I," he admitted. "But maybe we learn." 3 weeks later, the final Phoenix test took place. No investors, no media, just Adelaide, Leo, a handful of engineers, and Bonnie Carter watching through glass. "Ready," Adelaide said over the intercom. "Ready." The engine ignited. This time it sang. Smooth, powerful, perfect, temperature stable, output beyond projections. Bonnie pressed her hands to glass. "Dad's engine is singing." Adelaide went down to the chamber. When Leo emerged, exhausted and smiling, she hugged him in front of everyone. "Thank you," she whispered, "for fixing more than just the engine." That evening, at a small ceremony, Adelaide stood at a podium. "Success isn't money or contracts," she said. "It's integrity." She turned to Leo. "Today I'm announcing Leo Carter as Chief Engineer of Monroe Aerodynamics, and we're establishing the Carter Foundation in honor of Rachel and Bonnie." Applause filled the room. She handed Leo a small silver wrench engraved. "To the man who fixed my heart." "Stay," she said softly. He nodded. "I'll stay." Weeks later, at dawn, the Falcon X-90 stood ready again. Bonnie sat in the cockpit of a model plane, making engine noises. "You ever think about what happens next?" Leo asked. "Every day," Adelaide replied. "But I don't need to control all of it anymore." They boarded the jet together. As the engines roared to life, smooth, powerful, flawless, Adelaide realized something. Machines weren't just metal. They were trust made tangible. The jet lifted into golden light. Leo's hand found hers. "You know what I learned from you?" she said over the hum. "What?" "That some things are worth fixing. Not because they're broken, but because they're worth saving." He smiled. The runway fell away beneath them, and for the first time in her life, Adelaide Monroe did not fear the future. She welcomed it.